Hello everyone, welcome to my very first video on my YouTube channel, which is all centered around the care of your ferrets. This first video is about keeping them kept clean and tidy, and more importantly, keeping the smell down within your home. As you can see, mine is kept in my bedroom. So the smell, it's vital that I keep the smell down, and I have 6. I have 3 boys and 3 girls. And as you can see, this is their average mess that they can make in about a 12-hour pattern. Typically, I will do them in the morning and in the evening. But today, I've had to go do a few errands in the morning. So it's now just after lunchtime when they're getting done. But as you can see, we've got kibble all over the floor, toys, the lot. So let's get started. So before we actually begin in cleaning out the fuzz butts and cleaning the floor, it's time to talk about the toolkit. This is my toolkit, bar 2 items, which is my broom, currently sat over in the corner, and my floor mop. But these 6, 7 items are, I could not live without them. I could not keep my ferrets as clean as they normally are. Because at the start of this, they're still very much dirty, but I could not keep these guys as clean as I do without this. Firstly, dustpan and broom, or dustpan and brush. I use this for sweeping up any bits in their cage that could be loose, like food scraps. They get chicken feed quite often, so flakes from that. Anything that I don't want getting mixed up with my rag and my cleaning spray. Next thing is rag and cleaning spray. This is a generic bottle I got. I used to have cleaning products in it, and I've just taken the label off, as you can see, with all the stuff that is still stuck. This is my gold dust, and this is what keeps your ferret clean. This, I have a very safe diluted pet cleaner in here. I will put the link to some pet safe cleaners down in the description, but these are the ones that typically get used in professional settings like dog kennels, catteries, etc., rescues. If it wasn't for this, I don't think I could keep my ferrets smelling as good as they do. This gets used on everything. This gets used on the floor, their cages, even in their litter trays, and sometimes a quick spritz on the hammock just to freshen it up. Absolute gold dust. As for the rag itself, that's just mop it around and wipe it around in their enclosures. Litter picker, quite pretty standard. This one comes with a cover so you don't spill everything anywhere. This is currently due for clean. Some form of brush or something just to get the hairs off, or lint roller as well would be another good option, just to get the hairs off. This is a specialised brush. As you can see, it has micro like grooves, which is really great for sticking to the hairs and getting hairs out of hammocks, blankets, all of that sort of stuff. Wet wipes. This kind of goes hand in hand with the cleaning rag and spray. I don't always use this. This is typically for wiping up any spillages, any loose poos, any wheeze that have happened, all of that. Lastly, some form of bag. These are nappy bags. I find them a lot better than dog poo bags. 1, they're fragrant, and 2, extremely cheap. You can get, I mean, I can actually show you just very quickly to show you how many you obtain. Do apologise about the camera. So in here, this is where I keep everything for the ferrets. And in this box down here is where I keep the rest of their nappy bags, and there is 100. I have not purchased any more. This has come out of one bulk bag of nappy bags, and it is gold dust because it's fragranced. It hides the smell, and it's enough to capture all of their poo, basically. Welcome to the top part of their cage. For this, I have moved down or half taken off one of the hammocks and moved 2 to the other side. If you can hear commotion, they're the ferrets. They're currently out to play. they will typically come out to play and now be out now. It gives me a chance to clean their cage and give them a chance to have a run. So the first thing we're going to do is actually inspect this big pet bed here. This typically will vary. Sometimes they may not even have a pet bed. But if there is any, in which case there's a couple of bits, I am just going to put my glove on here. And we're just going to start sweeping. And as you can see, there is a considerable amount of fluff and dander. I'm just going to put this straight on to the bottom set portion of their cage. And there is actually quite a bit, especially in the grooves here. So all this doesn't necessarily make the smell any better, but it does help. It's definitely worth doing because it will help in the long run. It will spare your washing machine. Now, when the ferrets were at my parents' and I was able to get them a massive shed, their typical bedding changes would consistently take up about 3 loads of washing. This only takes up 1, purely because it was a shared household and the cost of the water and the cost to use my their washing machine was considerably different from now. I'm just going to untuck everything here just so I can actually have a good look and really work with my hand around getting as much as I can. Now this is an item that will get sprayed in just a little while, just to give it a spruce up. But that will happen a little bit later on. So, quite nice big bit of fluff there. This is also the time, if you do use pet beds like this, to really just give them a good check over, make sure that there are no holes, nothing that they can hurt themselves on. I've got one ferret raisin who, as you've hopefully seen in my very first short, which was considerably the very first thing I posted up, he loves toys, especially Beanie Babies. He's currently on my bed now, stashing them. So this is now going to go onto my bed as it is clean. And this was the whole result from just that. The next is the blanket. I get these from Primark, literally anywhere that they do cheap novelty blankets. This one is obviously a video gaming one, and this is just going to get a good shake into the enclosure and gone. And then the next job is repeating what I've done with the bedding to all of the hammocks. So that's done, and what we're now going to do is just give these 2 hammocks specifically just a very light misting inside as well. You don't need to completely coat it, it just has to be 1 or 2 sprays. And this is just, it's a bit like spraying Febreze on your couch. It just kind of freshens everything up. I'll come along with my rag sometimes just to help spread it around. This also takes any excess wet off, which is very important for hammocks with this kind of weather coated. So that's one hammock done. We'll then do the next one, which has not been sprayed. So that's the hammocks now done. It's now time to assess the floor. This is the chicken feet I was on about. So that I'm going to put on the food shelf for now, and I'm going to deal with that later. So the next job we now need to do, and to me it's not my most funnest job. I'm left-handed, so I just tend to make things more awkward for myself. That is to go around getting all the bits. Typically I do this, I'll start at one corner, which goes underneath here. And I'll just brush it all to one side. Now, I'm sure there's easier ways of doing this. If I had a little handheld hoover, I would certainly be hoovering all this up. But because I have currently moved properties, I am on very bare basics at the moment. So, unfortunately, do not have a vacuum cleaner. This would also make my life easier when it comes to sorting the floor out, as that gets hoovered, well, gets swept, and basically mopped and washed twice a day. Obviously that is for my hardwood flooring. This is not a good example of what you should do with your carpet. Definitely clean your carpet, but it may not be as easy to do often. So with all of the majority of bits picked up, as you can see, that is everything that's just come off the top alone. I put that somewhere up and out the way of the ferret's reach. Especially my second girl firefly. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's to do with cleaning, she will stash it, especially the cleaning rags and wet wipes. And she also has a very good tendency to kick over the dustpan. Now what I've just done here is use some of that spray. Use as little or as lot as you want. Typically, depends on the day, if it's the point between a deep clean where all hammocks and the cages get a proper decent wash, I do slightly lay on heavier with the cleaning agent. I'm just using the rag to get everywhere. So that is now the top practically done. With this, I'm going to come along with their blanket. Now, the ferrets like to mess up their blanket. It's a constant sort of argument for us. Hello, Eggnog. I can see you on the floor. Oh, and here comes Holly. This is the third and final girl. Out of my girls, she's the sweetest. She generally does not nip. Both my other girls, Firefly and Niblet, I've had since kits, and they just haven't, their training hasn't wanted to stick. Holly, what are we doing? Come on, we go. Boink, and down. So then, she'll probably come back up, I can hear her already. Yeah. Oh no, this is Niblet. Niblet's coming up the ramp now. No, she's back. What are you doing, Nib? So this, I just give a very quick spray. This is Niblet. This is the girl that is just generally attitudey. Though I have suspicions she is starting to come into season, which would explain the majority of her behaviour. But that, again, that is something I will go on and talk about on this channel. This is what this whole channel's for, is to teach everyone how to look after ferrets and also provide good, hopefully good information on their wild counterparts, as well as throw in some fun little videos here and there of my ferret or anything I see that could be useful and entertaining to go on this channel. So that's the pet bed, also sprayed down. Sometimes when you spray it, you might even find extra little bits that need to go away. That's perfectly fine. If anything, it's helpful. And then the last thing is to put the hammocks back. So same rules apply to the bottom as it does to the top. We're going to start off with the hammocks, and we're going to start just by scraping and getting as much dust and as much dander, fluff, and God knows what else onto the bottom shelf. And once again, I've moved one of their hammocks out the way slightly so you can see. And this hammock is always the worst, as it is used as their like step ladder up to their shelf. They don't need it. They can reach quite perfectly without aid. But I just want to be a bit more considerate than that. Sometimes I do find, especially for the bottom one like this, quick spray, the wet helps everything to stick on my hand to glide slightly better. And we're just going to come across sideways. And down. Then that one is going to get up and tucked out the way. So you can see the floor. And once again, this is just a case of sweeping the floor. And this is typically where those wet wipes will come in handy. As some ferrets are particularly lazy and don't always like using the litter tray. Eggnog is currently by my feet, trying to help. So all these little particles here, and a couple of little ones, they're all poo. Now they could be picked off. If you had a knife or a scraper, it would make your job 10 times easier. But this is where I use the wet wipes, just as mainly to act as a barrier between me and dried up shit. Just to help pick any stuck clumps off. Like so. Now again, this is one thing that would help is a hoover. You could literally just hoover up all the bits and wouldn't need to worry about sweeping and dusting them. Next is the food tray, which is pretty self-explanatory. We've done it twice before. Sweep and wipe away unclean their tray. And there we have it, guys. One clean tray ready to go in, and there is a reason. And he's off. So that's going to go in. I'm going to just put it down there for now. Next is the litter trays. This is going to be pretty self-explanatory. This one in particular is going to get completely emptied, and they've got some clean litter trays lined up. So this one I am not going to is not an example of what to do. As for this one, it's quite simple. Remove the poo, remove the wee, and we'll give a spray. Sounds simple enough. So remove and freshen up. One clean tray. Just needs a spray. Only needs a couple just to dampen it. But this is pretty much like putting those things in your toilet that make them smell nice. And it dampens. If there's any bits that have been missed, like wee, maybe a few particles of poo, that's all going to get covered by the smell. And there we go, people. One clean ferret cage. I have just put the shelf back and all the hammocks back. Give them their brand new litter tray, which Niblet is about to use there. Did all of that off camera. It's not introduction. It's not a thing that you guys need to see how to put in a shelf. As for the floor's all done. Again, not really something you guys need to be shown. It's just a case of doing what we've done to the cage, to the floor, which involves of picking up any poo with a wet wipe, mopping up any wee with a wet wipe. Litter tray, which the outdoor one is down there. That gets poo picks and then freshened up. It all gets hoovered or swept, whichever you can do. And then mopped. And we are done. Wait, I actually done any words, Eggnog. He's tuckered out. They've been out for a good 2, 3, maybe even 4 hours. It's a lot later in the day. I've actually filmed the ending because they have been running amok. These are my 3 boys here. We've got Eggnog, Gus and Raisin, and my girls are downstairs, I believe, somewhere. There's one at least. There's a Niblet and I think a Holly. Careful, mister. Go on, got there. But yeah, that is everything. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and stay tuned as there will be more. All right, see you later.